I even shut myself down, unmute myself. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Blue Table Talk, and I'm your host, Deborah Jones, along with my co-host, Toya, Toya, Toya. Anyway, I got her smiling because she wasn't smiling earlier, but she's smiling now, so that's a good thing. Anyway, so we just lost our guest for tonight, but I'm sure he's trying to work something out. Anyway, so y'all be careful about this hurricane. I can remember whether they say we just getting the rain part of it and it's kind of bypassing us or whatever, but whatever it is, get ready for whatever's going on in our city of Beaumont. Also, pray for the people in the south end of town because they mobile or something happened out there with mobile and they had shelter in place. So continue to pray for the people who live out there. I lived in the South End before, so I know what it's like to move around when mobile does something and you have to be sheltered in place. As a matter of fact, we had to evacuate. So, but if those who are in place, pray for those that they could go come. Mobile could dissolve everything that's going on over there, and they could come back to their homes. Okay, like I said, tonight we have on our podcast on Chris Durio. Hey, Chris, how you doing tonight?
Hi, how y'all doing tonight?
We're just peachy. We're just peachy. So I'm so glad to have you here tonight. And I know everybody in Beaumont should know you, but just give us a little synopsis about yourself. What do you do? What do you do in the city of Beaumont?
My name is Chris Durio. I'm the councilman for Ward 4, City of Beaumont. Currently serving in my second term. Lifelong resident of Beaumont. I'm a retired fireman, and I'm a Navy veteran. I'm married to Gwen. I got two children, Jocelyn and Trey. Four grandchildren, Chloe, Luke, Charlie, and Charm.
Okay, okay. So you're kind of busy, huh?
I'm pretty busy, yeah.
Good. So what's going on in the city of Beaumont right now as far as well, you know what, I really want to talk about our infrastructure about in Beaumont because I've been fussing so many years about that in my just at my home, where my water backs up. Like we get ready to have this hurricane come through, and if the problem isn't solved, which is isn't, I know you're not the councilman in my area, but you could probably know a little bit about it. They have worked on the streets in front of me and the streets behind me, but they never came on my certain street to work with this sewer system, where because the sewer back up at my house, and I have to wait. Sometimes I don't leave out at the time, but it's not a good feeling over here.
A lot of what I've seen as far as the infrastructure in Beaumont is for years they didn't do anything to improve it as far as the sewer system because of course that raises you have to pay for that. You got to get the money from somewhere. In the sewer system you have to raise your water bill. And we did an audit on our water department, and we should have been raising it some years ago. They never did. They always kept it the same. And by doing that, they didn't have any money to do improvements. All they had money to do was when something break, try to fix it. But we last year, I think we did 8%, and that's your water, your sewer rate. And we're going to have to do it again this year because when they did the audit, they basically said we were not charging enough for water and sewer services. And those are what you call enterprise funds. And what it means that enterprise fund mean it has to be self-funded, not paying by taxes and paying by whatever money we collect by charging for those services. So they had to increase that. So now we're able to do some, not only do improvements, but go in and inspect it. They'll do what they call a TV. They send cameras down into the water mains and the sewer mains to see where the breaks are and what might need to be repaired and what's broken and things like that. So we can be more proactive and start not only going in and finding stuff that's broke, but also improving it because we do have more buildings like apartments and stuff like that that's adding to the sewer system and the water system. So we have to have a system that's able to handle more houses and more buildings that's a part of that system. So we're able to with these increases, it's going to allow us to be able to do more work on infrastructure and preventing that, so we don't have when we have these rain events where people can't flush their toilets and sewer backing up into folks' houses and stuff.
So how can I get on the list as far as them coming out here to?
Just call 311.
I call 311 all the time, and look like that's all I'm doing is calling them. You know, so.
Well, just my people call their councilman, and I get them on the list. But just get with me, Deborah. I'll make a phone call or send an email. Just email me all your information as far as your address and what's going on out there, and I'll pass it to the right people. Chris.Durio at BeaubmontTexas.gov.
Okay, what's that again?
Chris.Durio at Beaumont, Texas.
You spell Beaumont out?
Yep, and Texas.
Okay.
.gov.
Okay. Watch for that email tonight.
It's after 5. I'll look at it tomorrow.
You cute.
I have a question. So I heard you say there's no money to do certain things. So why is it there are money to do a lot of things with nightlife, but not enough money to fix the streets?
Well, the streets is the streets and the sewer is two different things. We have money. Most of the money that we collect on tax dollars for the streets is just for repairs, or and paying for the day-to-day funding of the streets department. When we do big projects, we have to do what they call issue debt. Basically, we have to do a loan, like for stuff like repaving the whole 4th Street. We're getting ready to do Highland Street and this stuff like that. We have to do what they call issue debt to fix that. And as far as what the water department, and I said in water and sewer, they didn't have enough money because they were never charging enough for those two enterprise funds. But most of the money, people say, what about my tax dollars? Most of the tax dollars, where I understand it, and I've looked into it, goes to the day-to-day operations of the city. When we do big projects, we have to get loans to do that. Okay, and those like repaving, like for instance, I know I was speaking with our manager and he said up in Lufkin, they decided they wanted to replace their whole usually the water system or sewer system, and they went on ahead and they voted on it and they got to get a loan. And you talk about $100 million, but they got the money and they got it all done. And when you get those type of loans, when you pay it back, it's of course your taxes go up, but it's not a lot. It's really not. I mean, I'm talking about when you're talking about 100,000 homes, it's not even home, 100,000 population, say 50,000 homes that's paying those taxes, and you divide it up. We're not talking about $100 a year that you're going to be paying to pay that back.
Who's paying that back?
We will be paying it back because the citizens pay it back because the city's borrowing it.
Right.
But that's why I say you'll pay it back, like on the streets and stuff like that. Your taxes may go up, but we talk about they're not maybe $100 a year. And it's just. Go ahead.
So if our taxes are going up, why isn't that something that we vote on? Because if we're paying our taxes, we want our money to be delegated to that particular project, and then people get frustrated because they're saying that's where the money is going, but we don't see anything happening.
No, they do vote. Some of those loans that we get, we have to put some of that stuff. We do have to put that up for vote. Okay. When we get that stuff, we do, and we explain to them what it's for, and then they come back. That's like we'll come back like we just done 4th Street. Mm-hmm. That was something that we had to get money to do. Right. We're getting ready to do Highland Street on the next list. And then we have a capital program. Also, Avenue A is on there. And I'm just naming off streets in my ward because that's what I'll be paying attention to. Right. But they have other stuff. The Sun Street, we're not going to repave the whole street. We might just need to go through and repair bad spots. Well, we have money that we can do that with. It just depends on how much it is. Some stuff, we have different levels of debt. Some levels of debt, We don't have to get permission. It's for day-to-day operation. We could just issue it. And what it is, the way I understand it, people, it's investments for folks. They invest, and then you have to pay that back with interest, and that's how we pay that back. And then, but some of them, big one, we have to get, we have to vote on that. The citizens have to vote on that before we get it, and hope that they approve it. Now, as far as the water rates going up, well, that's our job. We're presented, like I said, we got an audit, and then staff presents it to us, and they say, hey, we need to do this. We're not paying enough. We got to try to do this. We try to fix these pipes or these sewers or whatever, and then we vote on it. And that's what we were elected to do, to make those decisions. But of course, we have to inform people, and that's why we always, before anything we do it for the transparency. We do it in front of the city council meeting, and we post it that Friday before the meeting, so people get a chance to look at it. They can go online and they could click on those different agenda items and look into it and read it. And then if they have questions, they can call before the meeting. They could call their council person, city hall, or they can show up at the meeting, and there's a chance for them to speak on agenda items before we even vote on them.
So you have, if like I said, my area, well, my house, it backs up. So you have to vote on that to put that on the.
No. That's day-to-day operations of the city.
Okay.
No, we wouldn't have to vote on that. We just have to. They have to be notified, and like you say, get on the list and get somebody out there to take a look at it and see what needs to be done. No, we don't vote on that. Like I say, that's what staff does. They don't have to ask us if we know that you're having a problem with your sewage backing up. They don't have to get approval from council before they go check it. That's their job. They're hired to make those decisions. It's just big money items.
Right.
I'm talking about 9-figure items that they have to come to us, and we got to approve the money for budget items and things like that. In the budget, they have money for the day-to-day operations of the city. It's the big things. Like if we wanted to replace the whole sewer system of Beaumont, of course we'd have to vote on that to get approval to get that money.
Right. But this has been happening over 10 years. So I have fussed about it. I have called 311, 911, 1011, whatever 11 I need to call, I'll call them. But the thing about it, what I was told, that because I live on a corner lot, everybody that's on my street, their sewer back, come down to me, and then it flushes over to the canal. So if it's coming that way, then somebody need to do something.
I agree.
So, but they're like, it's not on us. It's not on us. It's on somebody.
No, they have to. I've heard that before, but they had to keep going out there and checking and making sure, because sometimes it's they'll have problems in somebody's internal plumbing, but sometimes it's on the city. But they had to have somebody go out there and see what side of the system it's on. But I agree, if that's been going on for 2 years, and 10 years, then it's a problem that needs to be looked into.
Yeah, I'm emailing tonight, before and after the debate.
So the people that does the sewer, they don't have. Why aren't they sent to school to have like some type of formal training instead of just being hired on, and they're just out there learning as they go?
I don't know that they aren't formally trained. I know when they get, I would imagine, because we don't really handle as far as the personnel go, as far as the city. But I would imagine when they are hired, it's based on their experience. So I don't know what kind of training. I know some of them. I know the department heads and some of the supervisor stuff. They have to have certain certifications or they do have certain certifications, but I'm not sure about their formal training to do it. I would imagine when, like any other job, when people apply, then they're going to hire the most experienced person, people with the most experience. And that's another thing that we're doing, that they've been doing right now. They've been replacing some of our employees so we can get more experienced people and better people to work for the citizens of Beaumont. We've done that. Also, we've increased our minimum wage if you work for the city of Beaumont. When we started, I think it was $10 an hour. When I forgot first got on council, but the minimum wage, if you work for the city of Beaumont now, is $15 an hour. And that's just for new hires. And, after you've been there so long, you get more and more raises because it's very hard for a municipality like the city of Beaumont to compete with ExxonMobil as far as salaries. So we got to do what we can to bump that up and give them raises, every year. The majority of our, as far as salaries go, the majority of that money goes to public safety and for police, fire, and EMS. So we also have to be more competitive because in this area, folks want to go work at the refinery. That's the ones that's paying the money.
Right.
And that's who the city of Beaumont is competing with. So we got to compete with them. We have to pay them a competitive salary, and we have to go out and recruit good employees, experienced employees. Because I think Beaumont, the citizens of Beaumont and the city of Beaumont deserves the best employee. We deserve the best. You know what? And believe it or not, some people don't think that, but I do. Some people in the city, they like, oh, this is just Beaumont. We don't need that. Well, yeah, we do need that. We need the best. We need the best. We need the best employees. We need the best. We need the best streets. We need the best water system. We need the best drainage system, the best sewage system, the best garbage trucks, the best police and fire. I want the best for the best for our money that we're paying. I live here too, and I pay my taxes too, and I want that. That was one of the reasons I wanted to look in and see what was going on. One of the reasons why I got on the city council, or I ran for city council, was to make sure that we're doing our best and that we get what our city deserves. And I think the city of Beaumont deserves the best.
Okay, let me go ahead and speak to my viewers for a minute. Good afternoon, viewers. Thank you for coming on. We're talking to Chris Durio, who is the city councilor for Ward 4. And so if there are any questions that you guys would like to ask, I don't care if it's in your ward or whatever. If you're not in Ward 4, you can be in Ward 2 or 3 or whatever. You can go ahead and pose those questions to Chris Durio, who just left off. You come again. He comes back again. Stop playing with us, Chris.
I'm sorry. I tell you, I got these little fat fingers, and when I touch something on my screen, it touch something else.
Put your fingers behind your head.
Okay.
So if you are on my phone and not on the comment side, please transfer over to the comment side just say hello to Chris and give throw out some questions that you would like to ask him. Now, Chris, let me go back to Chris. But thank you guys, Chris. I know you are a councilman for Ward 4. Mm-hmm. Are all the wards treated the same, or what? I mean, I know how Ward 2 is treated. I know what they do out there, and I kind of know what you do for your ward. But do you get the same? What I'm trying to say, the same thing for your ward as the others do.
Yeah. It's about speaking up for your ward, man. And even Ward 2 councilman has said when they saw some of the stuff that they got, he said, man, Chris speaks up for his ward. When we first got on council in 2021, they used to take our money for streets, and it would be $8 million, and they would divide it up 4 ways into 4 equal wards. But we've changed it now to spend the money where it's needed. Ward 3 and 4 are older parts of the city, and we need more work on our streets than wards 1 and 2. So that's how we do it now. We spend the money where it's needed. Not to say we neglect the other wards of the city, but sometimes we're older neighborhoods and we're behind, so it takes more money just to fix our streets. So now we don't do that, just split it evenly. We spend it where it's needed. So yeah, I think we did. A lot of folks they throw that. I get that a lot. I bet they wouldn't do that in the West End. I bet they wouldn't do that in the West End and in my opinion, there's a lot of black people that tell me that, and what they're saying that because they're not doing that in the West End because that's a mostly Caucasian neighborhood, but it's not, because we live all over Beaumont, everywhere.
Yes. So
it's not a matter of it's not a matter. That's why they like to say that like they're mistreated, but it's like last year's budget. They talked about Ward 2 and Rogers Park getting a dog park. Well, that's what the people out there wanted. They wanted a dog park. We had a $1.5 million budget for parks, and $800,000 of it went into my ward, into Ward 4. The 800, over half of that parks budget went to Ward 4 with Central Park, some of the stuff we done at Sprott Park, some of the stuff we did in Terrell Park. So that right there tell you, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that we get our fair share. The councilman, they always say, other councilmen say, I don't want to share. I want all the money in my ward. Well, you know what? That's true. I don't. I want it all in Ward 4. That's where it's needed. That's my job, to make sure we get our fair share. And I think I've done that since I've been on council. And as long as I'm on council, I'm going to continue to do it. I like to go by that saying I've heard more than one person say, closed mouth don't get fed. Well, my mouth is wide open. And if y'all could see me, y'all could tell I don't miss many meals. So, yeah, you got to ask. And I think, yeah, if Ward 4, yes, I believe we get our fair share. I'm gonna make sure that happens.
Everybody, everyone in Ward 2 didn't want that dog park. Just FYI, because I was in that ward. I just think a small.
I understand that. Yeah, but they had a petition with over 2,000 signatures on it. They have been asking for it for years. That's what their councilman asked for. You know, they're part of the city, and that's what they wanted. So that's what they got. But we got a whole brand new playground in Central Park. We got some improvements in Terrell Park. We got a nice pavilion in Sprott Park. So we that's what they wanted in Ward 4, and that's what we got. So I mean, it is what it is. I don't have anything against dogs. I'm old school. I grew up. My dog played in my yard. You know, exactly. But it's different. It's different now. But everybody, I mean, those folks, they're taxpayers, and that's what they wanted. And they went out and I say they had a petition with over 2,000 signatures on it. So, and they have been trying to get it for years. So it's there now.
Now it's coming to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to put that out there, not everyone in their ward, because I didn't even know of a petition. So that's what I'm saying, is certain people.
But then if the dog park out there, didn't they wait a while before they did that? And then
they just did it last year, but they have been I mean, that petition was done before I even got on council.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember that. Well, Terry Roy says it does that because there's cracks in the storm water pipes and sewer pipes that's causing along the pipelines. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why they do those what they call televised. That's why they send cameras down in those pipes to find out where that stuff is so they can fix it.
He also said West End is the worst end.
I don't. I'm you know what, I leave that to the professionals. I know I don't get a lot of calls like that for the people in my ward. As far as I get a few, but most of them is in the area that was just, and it is at the couple of years ago, they made my ward bigger right before the last election. So, and I took in some of Caldwood, and that's where if I get a calls about that, that's where it comes from, that area over there. With those canals and all that, and not making any excuses at all, because that's something that has to be addressed and has to be fixed. But when we get to as far as our drainage goes, and we have to work with not only the city of Beaumont, we got to work with Drainage District 6, we got to work with Jefferson County, and we all got to come together. You know, we have those detention ponds and all that interaction in what's going on.
Aaron Johnson says we're starting to feel neglected in the north end. For first HEB, now Walgreens is closed. But
I understand. I know they did have open another grocery store over there on Concord in Old Village Shopping Center. And I did see where Walgreens closed, but we actually had a meeting about that today. And we just right now, they say some areas of Beaumont or Beaumont in general, when we're recognized as one of the most dangerous cities in Texas, it's hard to draw businesses there. So we're trying to get that changed with our new chief, do the things that we can to get that name. We don't want to have that name. We want to be one of the most happy and livable cities in Texas, not known as one of the most dangerous cities in Texas. But I think that we were told today that was one of the reasons that Walgreens left, was because of the danger in their neighborhood.
But now, the people across the street, which are the elderly people who live in those apartments, and they just rebuilt them and everything. They have nowhere to go because a lot of them can't drive, and a lot of them, just or they'll walk or they'll ride a bicycle or whatever. All the wheelchairs.
Oh, I
So
understand. I know exactly what you're talking about. For years, I worked at the last fire station I worked at was in the North End, so I know that area very well.
mhm.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chris, for
And I feel for those
clarification,
folks too. I feel for them, and I would hope they would be able to use stuff like, delivery services and things like that. Or I would hope they would have family that would help them out. That's what I would do.
Yeah, but it
You
costs
know,
for delivery services.
yeah, it does.
even if you get them delivered straight from, because I don't know if my insurance or whatever. Sometimes, like if I order prescription from CVS, they offer some stuff. They offer free delivery for. So I don't know.
But even with grocery stores, is what she's saying, that costs, for people to get that delivered.
Oh
But
yeah.
Yeah,
for clarification, it's not the city that closed the stores down. It was their personal choice, right?
Right. It was there.
exactly. We wouldn't do that. We don't want any stores to close. I've been working for over probably last year, and hopefully I'll get it done. We need another grocery store and drugstore in the Pear Orchard South Park area right now.
Hmm.
The closest one to that area where they do have a Cash Saver over there on College Street, and they have like I think they got like some private little drugstores, but not on College Street. Yeah, on Lavaca. I'm sorry, and they do have some little privately owned drugstores and Dollar General and stuff like that. But that's about it. I mean, I would like to get something over there to not only service that neighborhood, but also service Lamar University, because a lot of those students over there at Lamar, they live on campus, and they don't have a lot of transportation options either. That's another thing we've been working on, and hope we'll get that. Is we do have bus service, but we want to be able to give bus service to those people that live at Lamar University, where they'll have like a straight shot to go to grocery stores, or if they want to go out to Target or Walmart or something like that, with the
That's a good
public
idea.
transportation system.
In the Stadium Shopping Center, Mr. Chris, is that I want to say it was CVS at one time. Is that still
It,
open?
no, that was it was before CVS. It was an Eckerd's over there, Eckerd's
Yeah.
drugstore.
Right.
No,
Mm-hmm.
there's like I think it's like a
A
hair
hair
care
store.
products that's sold there right now. Yeah, but they do
Okay.
have that's why I'm trying to get them to look at on the other side of that parking lot is where it used to be
Mhm.
Lamar Bank, and it's been empty for quite a while. So I think that would be a good location for a drugstore. So
Yeah, that would
I've
be.
been working with folks and trying to bring them in here and just show them around. But I know, and I tell people this all the time, and I keep saying that this is not an excuse either. But man, working at the city, man, we don't. You know what? Most of the things that we trying to get done, or that I'm trying to get done since I've been on council, if we get it done, it might not happen until well after I'm left council. Because stuff when you're dealing with tax dollars, it's just, unless it's emergency stuff, the capital plan, that's things that's coming down anywhere from 5 to 10 years. And it just takes a while because everybody wants something. Everybody has a list of the things that they want, and we try to give them all to them. It just takes a while to, you got to pay for one, pay one off, start another one, pay that off, start another one. It just takes a while. And I'm just talking about my ward, but that's for the whole city of Beaumont.
Terry said that the city said a while back that the issue with people being unable to flush their commodes was a 30-year fix. Does he know if they're starting the smoke test to determine where the cracks are on the city side?
Yes, I've heard him speak about that they are doing smoke tests like daily, I think, or weekly at least. I don't know how often, but yes, they've started doing smoke tests.
So what's the smoke test?
You put smoke into the pipe and you look down the line and you see wherever the smoke comes out, that's where the crack is.
So is that why the commodes are backing up and everything? Because there's a crack in it?
I mean, I'm and like I say, I'm not the professional on this, but I imagine that could have some effect on it.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we took upon ourselves to call people who to go down there to check it out. Of course, that's going to be very expensive. But
No, you have to start with getting the city has to come out and check it because that's the city's system. And they have to come out and check it, and then they'll be able to tell. And I know I deal with plumbers; they're not cheap. But then they're gonna tell you what's on. They'll be the one to inform you and say, ours is good. We think you may have a problem on your side.
I've heard that many times.
Mm-hmm.
Many times. I mean,
go ahead.
No, I was just saying I heard that many times, but.
So my question is, so we're paying our property taxes. So we pay on our land. We pay for all of that. So my thing is, if we're paying for that, and the city comes out and they say, well, it's on your end, we're paying our taxes. So wouldn't that include the city paying for the plumbing as well? Why isn't that so?
They have at most houses where your water meter is, from there to your house is the homeowner's responsibility. On the other side is the city's responsibility. Because I've had that happen. I've had them come out to my house and they said, nope, that's on your side. And so then I would have to get me a plumber out here to, or when I first bought this house, the whole thing, my whole line had caved in and I had to get a plumber out here and replace my whole line between the where the city connection is, right around the water meter, all the way into my house and under my house. So part of your plumbing system of your house is the homeowner's responsibility.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is we're paying taxes on that land to the city. So why isn't that included? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like we're paying taxes on that land. We're paying the city taxes. So why, since we're paying taxes, why isn't that included? And they always saying it's always on our end.
Well, I kind of understand what you're saying, but it's the same answer. That part has always, and I don't know. I mean, it go back way before I was here. The homeowner has a responsibility for some of their plumbing. It's just like on the inside of my house. If I have a wiring problem or electrical problem, that's my responsibility. That's not on Entergy. That's on me.
Yeah.
Same thing with your gas line. Everything. Once you get to the meter, anything on the other side of the meter that's a problem, that's on you. That's my responsibility to fix. Mm-hmm. So even though I pay gas bill and I pay my electric bill and all that, part of that system is my responsibility on my property.
Okay.
I hope I answered your question. I tried to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm just thinking that we're paying, taxes and for the land or whatever. Why isn't it included? Mm-hmm. That was just something I just was curious about.
You definitely can't charge up on your insurance, homeowners insurance, because you can't find nothing on their homeowners insurance because they're not going to accept it.
No, well, not the
I don't know why we have homeowners insurance, really. Because every time I call down there to ask them, is this on my homeowners insurance? No, it's not. What is on it? Y'all know what y'all paying for? Why am I paying the insurance?
Oh, I know. I called my insurance agent a few months ago and I asked her, why am I paying twice the national rate for my homeowner's insurance? And of course she said, well, it's because of where I live, because I live on the Gulf of Mexico, because of hurricanes and all that other stuff. Because it was, it really wasn't affecting me. I always paid it, but I was paying a house note. So I paid everything to the house note. And then all of a sudden I said, all right, I paid my house off, but now I got to pay that stuff straight out of my pocket. And it's, I pay it, but it's different. You don't notice it. Before I just noticed I pay my house note every month.
Yeah.
Then, didn't worry about the taxes or the insurance because I pay my house note every month. Well, once the house is paid off, then you have to pay. Last year was the first time I ever been to the tax office to pay my homeowner's taxes. I had never done that before, but we do it. Just had to make our own escrow account. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Chris, can you explain to people the power of 4 votes on council?
Sure. On the city council, first, there's only a few ways you can get something added to the council agenda.
Mhm.
One is the city manager can get it added, the city attorney can get it added, or it has to be two councilmen that could get it to agree, and they could get it added to the city agenda. Also, or the mayor. The mayor can get something added to the agenda. Once you get it on the agenda, then we'll talk about it, and they'll bring it up, and they'll say, is there, we'll get can I get a motion for approval or denial? They'll say, okay, I motion approved. Then when they get a second, after they get a second, then there's any discussion. Because sometimes people don't realize, I said, can I get a motion for approval for something that I didn't want? But I say that so we can discuss it. You have the way they do it, a motion for approval, and then get a second, then we can discuss it. Then we vote on it. And you have to have 4 votes for most things, you have to have 4 votes to get it approved. For some things, just depending on what it is, you have to have 75%, which I think that's more than 4 votes. So that's the 4 votes there. You can't get anything done without at least getting the 4 votes. That'll give you a majority.
I have a question. Why is it that the city pays so much money to find a chief policeman chief, and then all of a sudden it was dropped? I mean, all that money was wasted. After you guys came out with the person y'all were gonna hire, and then all of a sudden it was wasted. I mean, that's
some of the folks. I'm gonna tell you, when the process started, which is city manager's job to handle that process, he
right.
approached council and he told the council, I would like to hire a recruitment firm to get us the best candidates in the country and bring them to us. And everybody on the council agreed. Only one, I don't remember, Councilman Gett said he wanted somebody local from the get, but nope, I don't remember that. And everybody else said, yeah, that's a good idea. But when the selection was made, when the city manager presented his choice of candidate to the council, well, it was a 4-3 vote to not accept his choice. And that's the way it works in Texas, because we're under civil service law. We're a civil service city here in Beaumont. And the way the law reads is the manager selects the fire chief and the police chief, and then his selection has to be approved by council. And his selection was not approved by 4 people on the council. It was approved by 3 people, but 4 people voted against it. And you're right, that was a waste of money, because if they would have made it known, and when the manager told us what he wanted the process to be, and they'd have made it known right then and there, we want somebody local, then we could have said, okay, well, we could just handle that in-house if you want somebody local. But when he gave him that idea and he told him he wanted to search and get the best person in this country for Beaumont, well, then they said it was okay. That's what they wanted. And that's what I think it was needed, because a lot of my people said the city of Beaumont, we just need some change.
right.
And and just hiring people from this area, we won't get any change. And a lot of people say, well, Beaumont's special. People don't understand. I'm like, man, Beaumont is a city in the United States of America on earth. It's not that different from a lot of other places that we could have had some. What I like to say is we could have got somebody in here with a new set of eyes to look at our same old problems and come up with brand new and better solutions. Well, we didn't do that. So that's what happened with that $30,000.
You could have given that $30,000 to the school district, and those teachers could have had a raise.
Please,
Okay.
I don't. Can you not bring up the school district? I don't work for them.
I ain't saying you work for them. I said give that money to them. Okay, so Kathy Wingate says only because he was a black man, because Beaumont doesn't want change.
Some people in Beaumont don't want change. Some people do.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't. I agree with that. I want change.
You can't always say it's the elderly people who don't want the change, because you know how you say they already got their mind fixed. You can't say that anymore. You can't say that anymore.
Some people are happy and satisfied with the status quo, and I wasn't.
Okay, so Terry says, besides the meeting that the city and BISD has, what have they done as a whole to change the narrative of the city? Because growth starts with both.
I think one thing that we have as our on the city council part, what we have done is we have and we do meet, but we've had talks and we said, you know what, we can't just keep putting the lack of growth on the school district. Some of that is on the city of Beaumont.
Yeah.
When, like I said, when you're recommended as one of the top 2 or 3 most dangerous cities in Texas, that's gonna stop people from coming here right there before they even look at schools, in my opinion. So I think you gotta, if it's a problem, you have to admit that that's a problem, and then we can start addressing it. And as the city of Beaumont, we did it. We said, some of us on council, yeah, no, the city of Beaumont has a problem, and we have to address that. And the school district is addressing theirs, and we both had to address our problem. Then we had to come together and fix them.
Right.
So that's my opinion. We have another group that Councilman Turner, and I'm a member of it also, but he's suggesting we're putting that together as a group for it's not the whole council and the whole school board. It's just a few of us to look in to see exactly what's going on, not with just the danger, but in the school district and stuff, with the parents and the schools and the problems and whatever they're having, and see what we can come up with. You have to this stuff here is not going to go away until you address it face to face. And it's been there for a long time. And we just had to, well, like I said, one thing, you have to step up and admit, yes, there's a problem, which we knew was a problem, but everybody kept saying it's on school district. No, it's on the city side too. So we got to address that. And I hope we do. I hope we get together, cooler heads can get together, quit pointing the finger at each other. And let's find out what the problem is, and let's fix it. And I'm hoping that our new police chief can be a part of that as well.
And you also need an outsider. You know what I mean when I say outsider? Somebody. Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's where a lot of the disconnect comes from, because
right.
it's just the people on council, but you have people that's out there really in the streets.
Right.
And y'all need to take some type of advice from those people as well, because it's not all about who's sitting on council. Because a lot of you guys,
y'all may not know what's going inside the district itself. You see what I'm saying? You need an outsider that's out there that can help you. I mean, they always say 2 heads could work together. I think more than about 5 or 6 can do that. You see what I'm saying?
But I understand that, yeah, but I know Councilman Turner and myself and even Councilman Getz. They're out there speaking to the community all the time. I talk to the community all the time. I mean, folks, hey, I can do it right now. My phone number 409-659-0113. That comes straight to me. And people call me all the time. And but like I told you, Deborah, if it's after 5, I get it in the morning. And also, folks need to remember, I'm semi-retired. I don't like to get up early. But I call people back.
And he doesn't.
I understand, but I have a communication with the community, people that's not on the city council, people that's not on the staff, people that elected me. I get a lot of information from neighborhood association meetings. I get a lot of information. People stop me all the time. And I went to our Mother of Mercy Bazaar this past weekend. And I mean, I had to stay there for a couple hours. A lot of people had a lot of things that they wanted to talk to me about. That's why, because I can't remember all that stuff a lot of time, but that's why I always give them my card. I got my email address on there. Email all that to me, and we'll start right. That's where I start and say, and then I'll see what I can do to get your concern addressed, looked at it, taken care of, whatever needs to happen. So as far as communicating with outsiders, I don't know that they're, to me, the member of a community, even though they're not on council, they're not an outsider, because we're all a part of the same community. We all want the same things done. We all want the same results. So we're all a member of the same community. We just hold different spots. I'm a representative of my community of Ward 4. I'm just their representative. They talk to me all the time. Not only the neighborhood association, like a Mother Mercy Senior Group. I'm a member of them. I go to their meetings. We had the South Park group. We got it's a lot of groups. Cana, Oaks Historic District. It's a lot of folks that come to me constantly, all the time. So as far as I know, when you say outside people, and these are folks, huh?
What'd you say, Tori?
No, I was just no. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're breaking up, and I don't know when you're talking and when you're not because it's echoing real bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Don't
no,
touch
you're
it out.
fine.
Don't touch
Okay.
it out.
Okay. No, that's all I'm saying is, I understand communications, and I try to communicate. I can't help if I don't know. I know some things. I know I know a lot of things about my community, but if it's something out there that's a concern for someone, I want to communicate. I want them to talk to me about it because we're all in this together. I'm their representative. I want to try to be their first line of communication or their first point of contact whenever they feel they have a problem with City Hall. I want them to come to me. So as far as, and like I said, I don't consider them to be outsiders because we're all in the same community. But I do understand, like I said, with the what I said about the and I could see when questions come up also. But like what I said, even what we did with the with our city manager, we hired an outsider, somebody that's not from here, that come in here with a new set of eyes and look at our same old problems and come up with better solutions. And I think he's doing things differently than what they're
Yeah.
used to. And some folks not liking that, but it's getting we're doing stuff differently and we're getting things done, I think. So, and we tried to do the same thing with the police chief. But
Yeah.
that's the system. It was a 4-3 vote, and that's just how it went.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the
And
next.
also, as
That's the
far
next
as
that I need to get on the podcast is the city council, not the city council, the city clerk. What is he? What is the guy who hired
The city manager.
city manager and the chief of police? I need to get both of them on my podcast and so we can talk. Speak the issues. Tori, you were saying something. I'm sorry.
I didn't forgot. I can't remember.
That's my job.
But I know one thing that I wanted to address was they're saying not like they didn't want to hire, like Getz did not want to hire an outsider. Well, we want community police officers in our community because they're relatable. Joe Stevenson, Reginald Bozeman, they were actually community officers that mixed in with the kids. So I think that's what we need instead of hiring everyone from Lumberton and Vidor to come in and police our children. And that's where another issue is coming in at. We need people from within our community.
Right.
So if people say don't hire outside, then don't hire down the street either. Hire from within.
I agree exactly with what you said. And right now we're trying to come up with incentives to get our more officers to live here in Beaumont. I think it's 75, probably 60 something percent of the officers don't live in Beaumont, and 70 something percent of the firemen don't live in Beaumont. And that's how it is nationwide. I don't know why, but that's how it is. But I agree. I think and I'm not saying that our officers and firefighters don't care about Beaumont. I'm pretty sure they do. But you get a better feeling if you have somebody from Beaumont. Like I'm luckily in my neighborhood out here. I live in the Terrell Park area. I have a police officer on my next street and a constable that lives right next door to him. And we talk all the time. And so, I would like for that to be all over Beaumont, to have a police officer in the neighborhood and a fireman in the neighborhood. I also have there's a active duty firefighter and his son that live in my neighborhood. There's myself and another retired firefighter live right down the street from me. But I would like for it to be like that all over the city. And as far as Mr. Roy's question,
I'm sorry.
But we don't have an issue with police officers. We don't have an issue with the firemen. It's the police officers we're having an issue with. So I don't think we can mix those two together, but the problem is with the police officers, not the firemen.
Well, no, I was just saying because they're all public safety employees, and it's a problem that we have it's something that's going on in both of those departments. So that's why I brought up police and fire, because they're both public safety employees for the city of Beaumont, and it's something that we're trying to work on to get it. But we can't, by law, we can't require police or fire or any of our employees other than the fire chief and or the police chief. We can't require them to live in Beaumont. We just can't.
Oh, okay.
By law, is we can't do it. We can give them incentives for living in Beaumont. Like one thing I think we're already maybe doing in police. I like to do in police and fire is give more points on the entrance exam if you're a citizen of Beaumont. You know, that way and now right now with fire and EMS, we're trying to give them help them, giving them money to help them move into Beaumont. You know, moving expenses and stuff like that. So that I think that's an important issue. It's something that can't be ignored. Something that just been going on for quite some time. But like I said, we can't make them do something. We can't break the law, but we can give them incentives, and we can help. We can help in how we're going to. We can help. We have to come up with ways. That's our job and staff job to come up with ways to get more citizens of Beaumont to take these tests and to be or want to do those things. You know, I wanted my son to be or daughter to be a police officer. They didn't want to. Well, like my son, I mean, they have good careers. You know, my son is actually a fireman in the Houston area, so they have good careers. But we had to find a way. You know, we had to touch the community, and we're talking, and also doing it through the school district to let, like, when we have job fairs for those kids that's like 18 years old, seniors in high school and stuff like that. And the fire department right now is running a program with BISD to get more of their kids interested in being firefighters, and you know, and police also. You know, so that's a plan that we're coming up with, and we got to start in high school approaching them. You know, our current police chief said he knew they had a police came to a job fair at his high school, and that's when he knew he wanted to be a policeman. He wanted that to be his career. So we had to start catching them. You know, they had to, you know, this is a job. Well, with the fire department, I mean, you can go through the academy when you're 18 years old, and then when you come out, it take about a year or 19 years old, you know, you starting off making $70,000, $75,000, $80,000 a year. You know, as 19, 20 years old. And I don't know how many kids realize that. Yeah. You know, same thing with police. Well, you have to wait till you're 21 because you have to, you know, be able to carry a gun. But still, it's good money. And like I told one of my nephews one time, I said, you know what? It's a difference. You need to quit looking for a job and you need to find you a career because there's a difference. And now this guy is in his 20s and he asked me, well, what's the difference? I say the difference is that I sit at home and I get a check every month because I went through and did my career and now I'm getting a pension. That's the difference. You know, that was not only was the fire department my job, that was my lifestyle. That was my family's lifestyle too. You know, and that's the difference. I gave that time to that job, and then the job repaid me not only then, but it's still paying me until the day that I die. So that's the difference. And we had to educate our youth on that. Let them realize that these type of opportunities exist, because some of them, they don't even realize that and that's another thing when I worked, and I'm sorry, I keep bringing up the fire department, but I did it for 31 years, so I know it. When I worked at the fire department, I always wanted to work, and excuse my language, I wanted to work in the hood because I wanted other little kids that kind of look like my kids to see somebody that look like them on their fire truck so they can think, hey, maybe one day I could do that.
Yeah. Well, let me throw these questions out to you because the time is drawing nigh and we're about to close out. So I want to just throw the questions out to you, the statements out to you, and you can hit and miss, okay? So Terry said both are going to have to collaborate on our mental health, talking about the fire department and the school district.
I think you're talking about school district in the city, and I agree with that. I know we've discussed that because you know what, a lot of stuff that's going on, it can't be nothing other than mental health issues. But that's always been, you know, in the Black community, that's always been something. We ain't gonna talk about Ray. Y'all know he's slow, and you know we got to address that. You really have to address that. You know what? Because what they don't realize, mental health issues, it's no more. I mean, you go to the doctor to get that fixed. just like you would go if you, I mean, and of course it's not as simple as a cold, but if you have some type of physical ailment, you go to the hospital for help. Same thing with mental. Same thing with mental. We have to address that in our community and let them know there's nothing wrong with that, and there's help out there for you. You know, we do have like our police department has what they call, it have 50 mental health officers that have been trained not to treat, but to recognize someone may have a mental health problem and where to go from there as far as what to do, who to contact and things like that. You know, and I think we need, I don't know if they really have that in the school district. If they do, great. If they don't, then maybe that's something they need to look at. But I agree with Mr. Roy. That is something that we need to look at. And I say we're putting that little group together. There's a few of us, and that's something that we need to look at. Mental health is a serious issue.
Nevertheless, Bruce Arthur, thank you, Councilman Durio. You're doing a good job. Captain Wayne says, hey, Chris, can you help us at the park on Carter with all the harassment from the BPD?
That's something I actually had a meeting with to discuss about today, about what we need to do different with what's going on at the park on Carter. That's a very successful business that's doing quite well, and we want to make sure we do whatever we can to keep it that way.
Yeah. Well, all right. So the clock on the wall says we're gonna have to get on out of here. A lot of us are going to watch the debate tonight against Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, and I hope that everybody watches it. And so I don't have any more questions actually, but I wish that you would come back on the set again sometime in the future. Toya, do you have anything else to say?
Yes, but I'll just ask them once we log off the air because it's breaking up bad.
Oh, okay. So can you stay on a minute, Chris?
Sure.
We will lock off. Okay, thank you, viewers, for coming on tonight, and I appreciate you. You know, you always support Blue Table Talk podcast. Remind everybody it comes on Tuesday night. Now, it might not be every Tuesday, but it comes on Tuesday night at 6:30 with our special guest. And right tonight we had a great guest. We had the City of Beaumont on, City Councilman Chris Durio with Ward 4, and he answered a lot of questions, but he's not gonna get away from me from email. I'm going to email him in a minute. So anyway, so thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer. And we out of here, guys. Don't forget to watch the debate and watch out for the hurricane that's coming this way. If we get it, it might get a lot of rain, but be careful, be vigilant, and God bless you. God keep you. Cheryl Chambers said, great job, Chris, as always.
Who said that?
Cheryl Chambers.
Oh, Cheryl. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Melvinice. And thanks everyone for watching. I hope I answered some of your questions and concerns. But I did put out my phone number, 409-659-0113. Hit me up and I'll see what I can do.
And he mean that.
Bye, guys. He really does, because I called Mr. Chris about something else.
He really means that, y'all. So if y'all have any concerns,
he does. He really does.
Yes. Good night, guys. See you later.